Once, there was an old man who liked to go to the ocean to do his writing. Often, he liked to take a stroll before beginning his work. One day, he saw a figure in the distance, looking like they were dancing. Intrigued, he walked to catch up. When he got closer, he noticed they weren't dancing at all, but in fact were reaching down into the sand, picking something up and throwing it. Now he had to know. So he approached that child and said, "What are you doing?" The child looked up and said, "Throwing starfish in the ocean." Perplexed, he said, "Maybe I should have asked, why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" The child said, "Well, the tide has washed them up, the sun is coming out, and if I don't throw them back, they'll die." The man scoffed and said, "Child, don't you know there are thousands and thousands of starfish on every single mile of this beach? You couldn't possibly make a difference by just throwing them back." The child listened politely, reached down, picked up yet another starfish, threw it. And as it met the water, he said, "Well, I made a difference to that one." That child in Lauren Isley's story, The Star Thrower, discovered the magical power of what I'm calling a starfish moment. Starfish moments happen when you encounter a problem, identify its source, recognize you have the power to help, so you do. Starfish moments aren't about recognizing the payoff potentially in the future. Instead, the action itself is the purpose. Starfish moments give you the opportunity to step forward and be actionable for small things that often fall victim to apathy. If that child in the story was a child today in the 21st century, their beach would be completely engulfed in starfish. Here, I'm using starfish as a metaphor for the problems, the wounds caused by overconsumption and resource extraction. And as we walk down our collective beaches, we feel this enormity. Such a big number of starfish. You'd think maybe we need a big solution, something like a starfish bulldozer. But I don't know how many of us own bulldozers. So what can we as individuals do? Well, that starfish nearest to your foot, that problem closest to you, identify it, step forward, and throw that starfish back. Now, did you solve the climate crisis just then? No, of course not. But you did make a difference to that starfish. Maybe he does seem insignificant if you compare him to the billions of starfish, but you saved his life. And to him, that's the most important thing of all. Instead of perishing on that beach, he was able to go to his starfish home, back to his starfish family, grow to a ripe old age, and die in the arms of his starfish wife. And you made that difference. This is actionable, deep empathy that everyone is capable of performing. My starfish moments look like helping every lizard I see get out of a swimming pool. My starfish moments look like putting out hummingbird feeders in the flowerless winter. My starfish moments look like fostering a mama dog and her 10 surprise puppies the week before I started my accelerated master's program. My starfish moments look different every day. And they don't have to be grand in nature compared to the whole world, but they should be grand in nature to me and to that little thing that I am helping. Now, I've always been a starfish thrower, and as such, I've been pretty focused on the throwing part, but when I reflect on the outcomes of this, it's taken me to some pretty deep places. One of those meaningful places is the river that runs through the heart of Tucson. When I met it, the Santa Cruz was a filthy, desolate wasteland. Plastic bag mountains supported mangled shrubs that grew out of decomposing mattress pads. The Santa Cruz was a shell of its former self. And one of the biggest reasons is trash. I found my potential starfish. I spent one Saturday morning helping clean up about a 200-yard section of the river. After about 3 hours, it was spotless. It was beautiful. The river was singing again. It felt like a starfish had been thrown back into the ocean. But I sensed that there were more starfish out there to throw. So I began thinking, how can I help more? I began talking to people that love the river as much as I did. And one day, as I was walking down Greek Row, a can of Voodoo Ranger Hazy IPA was rolling down the street, and I caught it and thought to myself, the trash that ends up in the Santa Cruz must come from somewhere. What if it comes from here? So let's start here. My solution was to send a text message to my closest friends and family. It read, "Hey, when you see trash, I want you to think of me. Picture my face," which may not be the best for my image, but hey, it got people to laugh, it got people engaged, and I said, when you pick up that piece of trash, take a picture of it with your phone and send it to me. I got over 350 pieces of trash just from that one ask after a couple of weeks. Just by asking people to be starfish throwers for a small amount of time, we were able to make a bigger impact. Now, I needed to outdo myself. So what could I do? I decided that with no professional experience, I would build a 16-foot tall trash tree in my backyard, made from trash that I got out of the Santa Cruz River, and make a 6-minute short film out of it. That film weaves the story of the river with the human experience and frames the river as someone that we need to reconcile our relationship with. And how I chose to frame that was trash. Now, out of kind of just a whim, I decided to submit it to a national storytelling contest. And to my shock and awe, it not only became a finalist, but it won its category. Hundreds of people were exposed to starfish moments in the form of trash that they could step into every single day. Starfish moments are unique. They are special because they give you an opportunity to not just heal what is hurting, they give you an opportunity to heal yourself. Feeling through your own compassion and then acting on it is a form of medicine, one that can heal. Here's how. First, you identify that thing that is giving you that spark of compassion. You help as best you can, and then give yourself that recognition for doing something amazing that can help heal the planet. Compassion is medicine. Starfish can be your window into compassion as medicine. I want to take you to a time when compassion saved a life. Not a human life, but the life of a little bird. A pink, wrinkly little chick had fallen into my driveway. Arriving home from school, I rushed to its aid. Surely this must be a highly endangered, highly valuable, rare chick. And how did I know this? I didn't. I was 6, and every little bird had that kind of magic to it. So I begged my parents to save it. Of course, it came off as quite a bit of sobbing, but what I wished I could have said then, but can say now, is this. Mom, Dad, I see this little life. I see its fragility. I see its determination. I know that it could just be a common chick. I know that baby birds fall out of nests all the time and die. I know. But now I've seen him. Now that I have, I can't look away. So I shoved it in a shoebox and took it to an actual emergency veterinarian office. The kind veterinarians took it in for me and said that they would care for it. They later informed my mother that it was in fact a common crow chick, not an endangered bird. But that didn't matter to me at all. In fact, it delighted me because now every single time I was in the street, in a car, and I saw a crow on a light post, I got to think to myself, maybe that's my little chick. It was my first real starfish moment. And I carry that memory to today. Just like the child in the story, when I was a child, I was told that focusing on the little things wouldn't matter that much. But as a young adult, I've discovered that holding on to that childish wonder of throwing starfish can actually make small ripples of impact flow into big waves of change. By being actionable for our own compassion and our own empathy, we open the door to dual benefits, healing ourselves and healing the planet. It is easy to be overwhelmed by the enormity of starfish. I know. I'll counter with, instead it is an enormous act of empathy and enormously courageous to pick up one starfish and throw it back when you have the time. Today, I invite you to be a starfish person because it gives you agency in a time where it's easy to feel helpless. Starfish moments are unique and special. One, because they have a benefit because of you, but also a benefit for you. This is how we reconcile with the climate crisis. This is how we heal ourselves in a time of enormous strife. For me, this moment is a starfish moment, and your next starfish moment will now reveal itself to you.